That's right. Also, I know it's no longer International Men's Day because it took so long to get through that video. Do I have a true emote? I don't yet. I'm bad. I don't know how to do things on Twitch yet. I'm still learning. Um, but but um, it Happy International Men's Day, everybody. Let's talk about men's rights. Let's talk about what we can do to improve men in society, improve the rights of men in society. Um, don't men get enough? Lol. Well, so there are a lot of issues that affect men in our society that directly stem from sexism, right? Like the kind of sexism that feminists are supposed to fight against. And I think that on International Men's Day, it's a perfect excuse to talk about these issues, like the prevalence of rape in our society, right? Um, Men also get raped, and this is something that I believe more people should care about because, like, it's kind of a running joke in society that men get raped too, and I think that's fucking weird. Like, we just kind of are like, yeah, he's gonna go to prison and get raped, and like people like chuckle about it. And you're like, why? Wait, why? Why is that funny? These are things that we need to talk about. We need to stop shaming men who are victims of rape. We need to stop enabling this rape culture that also affects men. We need to men's statistics significantly lower. Yeah, yeah. Prison rape jokes are horrifying. Yeah, only 5% of rapes end up in conviction, and that rate goes drastically down for men because men do not report being raped. I personally, guys, I am lucky enough to know a bunch of men who've been very open about their experiences with me, and a surprising, like a shocking number of men get raped, and these are problems that we should address. So like when we're talking about like issues men face, this should be like one of the number one things we talk about, right? The military has a big problem with male rape reporting. Absolutely, I don't doubt it. Happens a lot to kids too. Yeah, yeah. And we have women who rape men. That's also something that happens. And it's really weird to me as a society that we're just kind of like, yeah, it's cool when women rape children. What the fuck? Like, really, what the fuck? What Wait, why is it okay for a woman to have sex with a 15-year-old boy? Like an adult woman? Absolutely not okay. Absolutely not okay. Men get falsely accused a lot. Eh, the vast majority of rape claims tend to be true. The vast majority. We do hear a lot about false accusations, but yeah, it's weird. Worked for the railroad, the amount of on-the-job suicide, mental health issues from people stepping in front of trains, hired PM exclusively men. Few were comfy talking about it, but also they had poor resources. Yeah, and so like that's another issue, right? Like one of our societal expectations for men is that men don't talk about their feelings, men don't show their feelings, men don't express their feelings through anything other than violence, right? That's the only acceptable way for men to act, and that's something that we need to change. And I think that one of the ways we could change this is by decommodifying mental health care. Making it so that everyone has access to a therapist if they need one. I think that would benefit a whole lot of people, um, and especially men. Men need to talk about their issues, and we should normalize that as a society. Normalize men crying, normalize men laughing and hugging each other, normalize all this shit because it's wholesome and good, and men should be able to partake of it too. It would explain a lot of the GOP, yeah. True Blood handled a storyline about the main character that was raped by a woman teacher when he was a teen surprisingly well. It was the one plot point from the show I remember clearly. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised that a CW show handled that well, but I'm glad. I'm glad that had a good payoff. Um, yeah, it's one of those things we need to pay attention to men. We need to recognize that these things exist because guess what? Like, some people are going to make the argument that men are biologically, like, predisposed not to cry. Oh, thank you, done randomly. Like, men are genetically predisposed not to cry or whatever, like the fuck. But the reality is that men, while women do cry more, that is true. Women are hormonally prone to crying more. Men also cry a lot, or should be crying a lot. I think like the average was sometime like somewhere around 6 times a year. So like when people are like, "Yeah, I never saw my dad cry except that one time." Your dad should have been crying like several times a year, at least. And instead we tell them to shut it up inside and not address it. And I think this has particularly negative consequences for a lot of people. Haven't cried in years, but that's more based on issues. Oh, I'm sorry. The main character's brother was shown deeply traumatized by the experience and traced his horrible love life and self-destructive behaviors to being taken advantage of sexually by an older woman. It was way ahead of its time, honestly. That sounds based as hell. Awesome. My dad cries all the time. He's a big softie. That's awesome. Yeah, normalize men being soft, because men aren't made to be hard all the time. We're all animals. We all have needs. We all have things that we need to do in order to be healthy. Crying is one of those things. Let dads be human. Let men be human, guys. Not just dads. Let men be human.